Right now, I take time for myself. I'll take a holiday. I spend time with my friends. I laugh a little. I don't always live in work, and I think your life being your work is absolutely untrue. I think we are told that for a very long time, that if you stop working, somebody else will get that opportunity. Don't stop working, but have a work-life balance. I think having a work-life balance is so crucial, and especially us, we're a country of so many people that we are constantly told to say that if somebody else is going to take your spot in a second. But if you invest in yourself and you're really good at what you do, and you kind of find your rhythm and your strengths, focus on that, find a work-life balance, work becomes so much better. You're inspired, you're excited, and that's how I'm being kind to myself, is just by giving myself time.
Because I remember a conversation we had, I think 5 years ago, and actually it was before your marriage, and you said, I asked you, what have you given to have the career that you have? And you said, my life.
I did. I did not have my 20s. I don't remember anything else except being on set, or trailers, or my team. In my 30s, I started going to America, and I was having a little bit of a 2-second music career, and and in my 2-second pop star career, I had a great time, because I was suddenly like, oh my gosh, I love music, and I think musicians are incredible, because musicians and writers, I feel like people that can create from air, just writing a song, it comes from your head. As actors, we lean on other people's words, we lean on other people's direction, we lean on other people so much to be able to bring our characters to life that we are given way too much credit, I think. But writers, people who conceptualize, people who come up with ideas, whether that's for music or for books or for art, or painters, paintings or drawings, things that come from thin air, I'm a big admirer of. So when I started doing music, I was in the room with all of these people that I'd grown up admiring, like will.i.am and Pitbull and Red One, and I was like, spinning, and I suddenly started doing stuff that I liked. I was like, because I didn't think, honestly, after I heard my first song, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be long term. But I was enjoying it too much to give it up, so... And in that phase is kind of where, and this was me in my early 30s, I kind of realized that I really have fun when I hang out with my team after work, or we find a new restaurant, Oh my gosh, a movie has come out. Should we go to the theater to watch it? Those were things I just never did. And maybe because I was in America, I had a little bit of anonymity compared to India. I started doing stuff like that. And it kind of shifted my mindset. And I started taking on work with people that I like. I started working with like-minded people. I started looking for like-minded people to collaborate with. I started making friends that like similar things. I started taking time out and, going away for a weekend. How about that? It was such a new, novel concept for me. And that, I think, kind of helped me find a little bit of a work-life balance.
Here's the thing I don't get.
Okay.
Is how, despite the incredible fame for such a long time, you are able to look at that music career and honestly say it was 2 seconds, right? You were able to walk into... No, listen, guys.
In my 22-year career, it was 2 seconds only. There are literally 4 singles online, guys. I have 40 in Natasha's laptop, though. There are many songs in her laptop, which will never be heard.
Lekin, Priyanka, you're able to see it with a very... Objectively. Yeah. You're very realistic and sort of open about, okay, maybe I wasn't so good at this. Yeah. There's not a lot of famous people who can do that. How are you able to do this?
I don't know, man. I come from a place of honesty. I think it's just easier to be authentic and transparent. I mean, y'all are talking about it anyway, so I might as well join the conversation. You know what I mean? Why are you leaving me out? Tell me what you really feel so we can all talk about it. And I hear what you really feel all the time, trust me. It's all on my timeline. But I think like just being a little bit more real with yourself. I don't have a sense of ego when I walk into a room. I know when my films haven't done well. I know when they have done well. I don't rest on my laurels. I'm never someone who like say, wow, my last picture kitni badi hit thi, and then just be excited about that for the next 5 years. No, I'm looking for the next thing, how I can beat what I just did. I'm always looking at being better than what I was in the past. So I think I can be very honest and say, okay, that was bad, and I cried and I dust myself off, and then abhi kya? You know, what you do after failure is what defines a human being, because failure is going to happen to all of us.
Yeah. That deserves a round of applause. Are you good though with failure? Do you sort of get it out of your system quickly?
No, it takes a lot of dramatics before it comes out of my system.
क्या होता है? What is
Rona,
Priyanka?
dhona,
अच्छा, रोना
overeating,
धोना.
overthinking, overcrying, watching movies for 5 days and not talking to anyone. Like, everybody, it sucks, man, when you fail, whether it's in class or whether it's, you know, in your whatever. Like, any dent hurts when you work really hard and you fail. It hurts, and especially in my job, right? Like, my job is so inconsistent. Think about it. I don't know where my next check is coming from till I sign my next term. I have no idea. So it's so unpredictable that it's not like a 9 to 5. It's not like I get a salary every month. Like, think about the basic of that. It's really a simple, terrifying thought. So to build a 22-year career with that kind of inconsistency takes a lot. And I think it's easier for me when I'm more realistic about it. And I'm like, you know what, that didn't work. How can I make it better? I have to know that to be able to be better. I cannot be deluded. I don't like being deluded, and I don't like deluded people. It's just not my cup of tea. Yeah.
You said something else that I really loved. You said, I don't like to sit in the shit.
I don't. It stinks. Think about it. You sit in the shit, it'll stink. You'll stink. Why sit in it? Go have a shower, get out of here.
What do you do? Practically, what do you do to not sit in the shit?
Lots of tissue paper. Wow, this conversation pivoted. I picked a really solid metaphor, huh? I think that what I meant by that was that, you know, life throws stuff at you. And there are times when everything feels like you're never going to be able to get out of it. Like it's quicksand. Every day you're being pulled down, or every moment you can't even see a sliver of hope. And we've all been through phases of our lives where that has happened. If you sit, and you should sit and mourn what you're feeling. I really believe in not pushing things under the rug. I believe in actually talking about it. Find a person you trust. It is very, very crucial. And I have friends, and we know people that have, you know, when people think that they're alone, the noise and the fear becomes really big. When you're alone and you're dealing with what you're scared of, you can't fight it because it's in your head, and you can't fight what's in your head. But when you talk about it to someone you trust, whether it's your family member, whether it's a loved one, whether it's a therapist, whatever, somehow the power goes away from it. So what I do when I'm in the shit is I diffuse it. So say I have an issue with you, right? And you know, you and I have had like, whatever, you said something about me, because I'll never say anything about anyone. You said...
It has to be me.
It has to be you, because you're on the hot seat, always asking us questions. You said something about me. The next time I meet you, I'll talk to you about it. I'll sit you down and I'll say, hey, what do you mean? What happened? What turned? You know? And we'll talk about it for 5 minutes and it's over. And I don't have the baggage around my feet. I move on and it's done. Just move on. You know, life is so much easier when you're not sitting in the shit and carrying the baggage along with you. Usne ye kiya tha, uska ye hua tha, ye nahi hua tha, mere saath this. You're so heavy, you're never going to be able to rise above the water. You have to let it go to keep your head above water. And I like breathing. Fresh, clean air.
Okay, last question, and and we open it up to the audience, because this is something I want the practical hack, okay? Because this is something I deeply admire, is how much you get done in a day, okay?
Right.
We also worked together on the Geomami Mumbai Film Festival, and it's unbelievable to me that you will find time and you will sort of sit on it with the kind of detail that you do. How do you do it?
If I can't do it, I won't take it on. You know what I mean? So if I've taken on, like you called me and you said, I want you to be chairperson this year, I want us to go in a different direction. How can we do it? I thought about it. I talked to my team. I was like, all right, what does our next year look like? What can we do? I want to be able to prioritize this. I think Mami is such an incredible destination for filmmakers from pan-India and film students and people who are fond of films, who love films, film fans. How do we make it better? And that just the idea of being able to do that excited me. And I prioritized it. So the same way when I take, whether it's my businesses, investments, producing, writing, Mami, any responsibility I take on, I divide the time in my life, and it really, really helps to have an excellent team. I could not have done this alone. I have had people in my life that have worked with me for decades long. Many of them are in this room, 2 here, 3 there.
Yes, round of applause.
My team is my greatest strength, and they help me do all the things that I can so that I don't have to sit on scheduling. I don't have to do the minutia. I can actually be the creative that I am. But I also do like multitasking, so that's on me a little bit. I'm greedy. I don't like to give up opportunities. Ki koi aur kar lega to. So I kind of find time. But like I was telling you, like finding a life, work balance, I started like in 24 hours. If I want to sleep 8 hours, I like to have a little bit of a 12-hour turnaround. 10 hours of my life will be dedicated to all the various things that I have to do. But after those 10 hours, I'm not available. But in those 10 hours, I am so productive because I've figured out my life. I know what my priorities are, and I know I'm going to hit those priorities in those 10 hours. So I think you really have to be it's like a mathematical equation when it comes to how I handle all the various things, Things, it's like Jenga. You kind of have to fit it in and pull it out and hope it doesn't fall.
Well, it hasn't fallen yet, and it won't.
Thank God.
Thank God. Priyanka.
Thank you.
And now we're going to open it up to the audience.
Ved Ratna Pratap Singh. Hi Ved Ratna, how are you?
Hi Priyanka.
Hi Ved.
First of all, you're looking very stunning today.
Thank you so much.
I just hope मैं इधर नहीं बैठा होता, I could have a better view.
Oh no, I'll turn around for you right now.
Thank you. Thank you so my question to you is, what was the most challenging part during the making of Citadel, and how did you overcome it?
I think the most challenging part, honestly, was it was a very long time. It was a year and a half of shooting, and I'm used to movies, it takes 60 to 90 days. This was a year and a half for 6 episodes. It was a lot of work. It's a complex show. Timelines jump, characters jump. So that was very challenging. Also, we shot it during COVID. Do you remember how working during COVID was? How many of you worked during COVID? Like 2021? So do you remember what the environment was, bubbles, and how you had to test and you couldn't talk to anyone? And especially in the movies, because as actors on a set, we're the only ones that take off our masks. So it was very scary too, to go on set while everyone is masked and everyone is in PPE. We have to take off our masks and perform scenes. And we were all working that time because all of you were consuming so much entertainment. There was like, और क्या आ रहा है? और ये किसी को बनाना तो पड़ेगा ना? So we went back to work. And I remember I went back to work in October of 2020, which was very terrifying. And the first time I went to set, this was Matrix Resurrections. I flew to, we were filming in Berlin. And I took that flight, and I remember everyone was masked, shield, PPE, and it was really scary. And I remember crying, and I was scared. I didn't want to talk to anyone. So filmmaking is such a joyous experience. Vedratnam. It's not like it's not rocket science, okay? We are not saving lives or anything. We're just making movies. So it's fun. It should be fun. No one should be getting hurt on a film set. No one should be stressed on a film set. It should be a fun, amazing experience. And this was tough because of the emotional setbacks, because of the physical demands. And also it was very physically demanding and challenging. I think being able to work with an amazing team helped, and keeping friends and family tested and close really helped. And my dogs. My dogs were with me. So that really helped me too.
Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank
Nice
you so
talking to
much.
you.
Thank you. Okay, Dikshita Naresh Hate. Hi, Dikshita.
Hi, I'm really nervous.
No, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. मैं और तुम ही बात कर रहे हैं और कोई नहीं है यहाँ पे.
ठीक है. First of all, I would like to say I'm a huge fan of yours and I really loved you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And my question to you is, what is the greatest life lesson you learned in your journey of success?
Oof, ये तो मैं Miss World pageant में बैठाती हूँ. Please give me the crown after I answer this.
Yes.
I think the greatest life lesson that I've learned in my journey so far, which I kind of was saying, is to really find the reason why you go to work every day. You know, don't just be a zombie. Don't be a robot. Don't sit on your computer or in your cabin or, you know, in your job without feeling a sense of passion. And that was my greatest life lesson. I'm lucky because I go from project to project. I know there are many people who have one job for a long time, and that's hard to be able to find excitement and passion. So then find something else. But to have a sense of passion when you wake up in the morning for whatever, whether it's your job, whether it's your life, whether it's your hobby, to have a sense of passion gives you a sense of purpose. And having a sense of purpose really leads to success, I think. Do I win? Okay, who's next? Mansi Itadkar.
Hi, thank you for pronouncing that correctly because people butcher it all the time.
Oof. I think it's very important to pronounce people's names correctly. People have mispronounced my name a lot.
Yeah. So my question to you is that you've had such a long and illustrious journey and career and all of that. So like, what's next for you? Like, would you love to like direct or write something? I think that would be fun.
Scary.
I mean, for you.
I don't think it'll be fun. It'll be terrifying. Yes, I do aim to evolve. I would like to direct. I have been offered opportunities to direct, which I have declined, because I think to direct, I'm someone who's very intentional. I do a lot of preparation. I do a lot of homework. I like really immerse myself into anything that I take on. And if I had to direct, I'll be gone from anything else for 6 months. So I always tell my team, when are you giving me 6 months where you'll not come to me for anything else? Then I will direct. But honestly speaking, I think it's something I want to do and I hope is in my future. But I want to be able to build a career in America like the one I had and enjoyed in India. I worked with the best filmmakers in the world. I worked with the best talent in the Indian film industry. I have worked with filmmakers that inspire me and I call even today for advice. And I have been able to do a variety of genres and roles. I have not been able to do that yet in Hollywood. I think I want to explore myself and be able to, in the next decade of my life, you know, build an illustrious variety of parts or characters that I play. Like along with Citadel, I have a movie coming out which is called Love Again. It comes out on May 12th. And that's a completely opposite character than Nadia. She's soft and it's a romantic comedy and she's vulnerable and, you know. So that's what I mean, is I want to be able to play different roles so I can be as surprising to audiences there as I have hopefully been here.
Best of luck. Looking forward to your journey ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
What would the Priyanka Chopra directorial look like?
I don't know. I'm sweating thinking about it. I don't know, but I think I'm not someone who will take on something really large, I feel. I feel like maybe I'll do a short or something so that I can dip my feet in, learn a little bit. I'm a student of life. Even, you guys keep saying you've had such a long career, what is there to do and whatever. I don't know everything. I don't know everything at all. There's so much to learn, especially on the technical side of filmmaking. I've been very lucky to be able to produce a lot of movies, which has given me an insight on the technical side of it. And I would love to have the creative technical experience as well. But I think it requires learning. So I think I'll take small steps, do maybe a short, see how that feels, and then maybe an episode of TV, or then see how that feels. And I don't know. That's how I think. I'm a practical person.
How lovely, though. How exciting.
Let's see when it happens. All right, next. Last two. Rahul Gopi.
Hi Priyanka,
Hi,
hope you're
Rahul.
doing well. Before I direct the question, I would like to give a shout out to individuals like Aparna and Anupama to creating these spaces for women and individuals so that people who are not from well-to-do backgrounds can own up these spaces and create their own stories. So thank you so much.
It's a fact. They're both incredible women and
Yes.
leaders in their own way. Yeah.
My question to you is, since you have been part of so many projects, what is more difficult, to get into that character and the psyche of that character, or to get out of that character after the project is over?
To get into it. I'm not very method like that. It only happened to me once in my life where my mother was like, snap out of it if you're going to come into my house.
Which character?
Etras.
What were you doing? Were you just behaving badly?
No, because Sonia didn't behave badly. But I used to walk in slowly. I would talk deliberately. I'd pick up my coffee cup like this. I would look at you slowly. My mother was like, hello. Koi camera nahi hai yahan pe. Come back home. That's the only time it happened to me. It was so funny. And I was like, what am I doing? But I was so young and I was so nervous about that character. I think I really overthunk it and I used to bring it home and I really wanted to, figure it out and not get it wrong. And I was working with Kareena and Akshay at that time and they were like, big movie stars. And it was one of those smaller, it was a big step for me. So, but my mother quickly brought me down to earth. And after that, I think she filmed me once. Like she took a video of me talking to somebody, like quietly, and showed it to me, and I was so embarrassed that I quickly realized that I have to leave my characters on set. But getting into it is more of a challenge for me. I think when I read a script, what I like to do is I like to familiarize myself so much with the character that I'm playing that she's like my best friend or my roommate, someone that I've known for years. So I will know whatever my character will do in any given scenario because I familiarize myself with her backstory, how she walks, how she talks, what her clothes are like, what her preferences are like. And then before I go on to set, I throw my script. I don't think about it. I come in completely unprepared. I know my lines, but I don't think about how I'm going to do the scene because if I know my character and you put me in a scene, I know exactly how she will react to her brother or how she will react to, her boyfriend, or I know her behavior. And then it gives me the ability to create magic. If I practice it too much, at least that's my experience. There are many different kinds of actors. I don't benefit from too much practice and too much rehearsal because then I become very robotic. So I'm a first 3 takes kind of girl. Uske baad I need a break. Thank you.